All right, shalom to the hopeful elect. This is Brother Sagalah coming back with another lesson through the Kakwadash, the Holy Spirit. Before I get started on my lesson, I'm going to say, Call Halo Yamla, Allah Yahweh Yahweh, Ba Hashem Yahushai, Ba Hashem Kakwadash. All praises to our power, Yahweh Ba Hashem Yahushai, who is the God of the heavens, and the power of the heavens and the earth, And to you, you Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, you are the true chosen people of the Most High Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, not to exclude the confusion of faith brothers and sisters that's also scattered amongst the heathen nations. Double honors be to the elders and apostles who have labored faithfully in this truth and are worthy of double honors and are the true teachers of Israel today. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. Habayath Madawadah, the house of David. The brothers out here pushing this truth, laboring to make their calling of election sure on the four corners of the earth, day in and day out. Also to the listeners, the Akim and Akwathium, who also listen and believe on Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, to you I say shalom as well. So I'm going to jump right into it. You see this article, which it dates back to April the 6th, but it's from Hot 96, 969, Boston.com. So, it's from April, but I ran across this article through the Spirit, through the Rakakwadash. I'm here doing this lesson now. So, I don't want about the Zah. Lord willing, is edifying, to the listeners. So Megan Thee Stallion, we've heard of her. We've heard of, this new wave of female rappers who've come on the scene, in the last, few years. And she's right now the poster child for all the female rappers. So it says the title, Megan Thee Stallion, that's her name, Megan Thee Stallion, calls women the superior beings in new interview. So I'm gonna read, this interview that she gave for this magazine. And in this interview, she said that women were the superior beings, and she goes into why she believes that. So there's people out here, there's women that's waking up to this truth, which are some elect women. Really, this is for those of the elect, who might, still be learning or come into the knowledge of the truth, to edify and show that, that everything, there's an order to everything. And this world is clearly, not in order according to the Bible. So there's a clear distinction between, what's righteous and what's wicked. And this is clearly wicked. So we can see clearly in this picture that this is not a woman that's a righteous woman. And we can tell because her countenance is witness against her. So if she was someone that was righteous, she would possess wisdom. If she possessed wisdom, why is her titties out? Simple. So this shows you that this woman doesn't possess any wisdom, which by default would make her, not righteous, because you can't be righteous and not possess wisdom and not exercise wisdom. So to possess it is one thing, and to have the knowledge thereof is another. But you have to actually live or, show your faith through your works. So with all this infinite wisdom that she has, why does she look like this? So obviously these women are bugged out. So for the elect women that are awakening to this truth, and for the believers, the edification is to show, that clearly the ways of the world is completely bugged out. But these are the things that go on day by day. These are the statements that are made. This is the energy that's being pushed in this wicked, society. We live in a society that's a cesspool of wickedness and iniquity and sin and unrighteousness. So this is what is being pushed on a day-by-day basis. So when this when these kind of things, come to the table, we got to deal with them. So we're going to deal with these comments. So I'm going to read a little bit of the article and then we'll get into it. So it says, Megan Thee Stallion is gracing the cover of Marie Claire's May 2020 issue. In the interview, the Houston rapper makes a declarative statement that might ruffle some feathers. Now, it says that because clearly what she's about to say and what she's speaking on, she has no knowledge of, and it will ruffle feathers because it's clearly something that is erroneous and it makes no sense. It says, I know that women are powerful. This is the words of Megan Thee Stallion. I know that we are out here birthing people. I know that we are out here running explicative. So I can't even be mad at you for thinking that we should be held to a high standard. See, the standards that women are supposed to be held to, is not to be superior, to the man or to be, over the man. No, the standard that a woman's supposed to be held to is a standard of professing holiness, being set aside, coming back to righteousness, not promoting, thought culture and whoredom and feminism, and having a westernized mind. That's not, that's not the culture. Apostle Gabar did a, Yapar video going into culture, today. And this is not our culture. And the women of our culture are supposed to be, in order. So when she says, I can't even be mad at you for thinking that we should be held to a higher standard. The women are supposed to be held to a higher standard, a standard that professes holiness, showing that they are women of the Most High, the daughters of Sarah, and professing that holiness by coming back to righteousness, doing what the scriptures say. But, we're far from that. So I'll quote it real quick. The book of Psalm 82 and verse 5. It says, all the foundations of the earth are out of course. And this is a perfect example of how this is completely out of order. Everything's out of order. So it says, I continue reading on, that we should be held to a high standard. Megan Thee Stallion said, we're the ultimate beings. We are the superior beings. So this is the mindset of the women, of many women in our culture, because the vast majority of all the women in the culture are what? Feminists. They're feminists. They don't know that the reason that they think the way they think now is because they have a westernized mind. They've been raised here in the Western world. And what else? They believe in feminism and women's liberation. What is women's liberation? The liberation for women to do what it is they please. That they don't have to be governed by laws anymore. They don't have to do, the things that women have traditionally done, just dating back 40, 50 years ago. That now they have the freedom to live the way that they please. So, once again, these women, and this women especially, promote thought culture. Whoredom. They're sluts. So, it says, before making her declarative statement, Megan talked about the inequality when it comes to men and women, especially in the music industry. So she says a man can be mediocre as he wants to be, but still be praised. Megan argued, a man can talk about how he's about to go do all of these drugs and come out and shoot your house up, but as soon as I say something about my vagina, it's the end of the world. See, those are not real men. Real men, the men of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, are the only real men on earth. Those are the brothers of the 144,000, and the other members of the brothers that are coming back to this truth of the 1/3. Those are not real men. Real men don't promote, being a druggie and robbing and murdering, and that's black culture. The men of Yahweh Shem Yahushua have nothing to do with black culture. It's death culture. Continuing on, she said, what are you really mad about? You cannot be mad at me rapping about sex. That's what you're mad about. Megan said, it's something deeper. Megan theorizes, this is her theory, not only am I rapping about sex, I'm rapping about you making me feel good. I'm not rapping about licking on you. No, you're going to do that. You're going to do what I told you to do. And I feel like sometimes that can be a little intimidating. So she said her being in a position of authority, or a woman telling a man to do what she tells him to do, can be intimidating. Sometimes it's overwhelming to some men. They can't handle it. They get a little shook. They get a little scared, but I'm not going nowhere, so get used to it. So those are the words of Megan Thee Stallion, right? So we're gonna dissect this and jump into this. So there's a lot being said. So with all this being said, let's see if any of this lines up with the truth of the Holy Scriptures, because see, the Scriptures are the litmus test. The Scriptures speak about how everybody is wise in their own, in their own hearts. But the Scriptures are the actual litmus test. So we live in a matriarchy. The comments that she just made show that the vast majority of women in society believe, in this queendom that women rule, and in this matriarchy. And a matriarchy is a system or government ruled by women. The rule or the dominion of women. So when you have dominion, you have complete dominance and control, complete rulership over something. So that's the system we live in. We live in a system that promotes, the women over the men. So let's see if that's according to the Scriptures. So we're going to start in 1 Peter. I'm going to go to the book of 1 Peter 3:7, and it reads, "Likewise, ye husbands, you men, you real men, which the men of the Most High are the only real men on the planet. The men of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge." You have a woman, y'all have laid down and had sex, that's your woman, that's your wife. So that woman, you're supposed to dwell with her according to knowledge. Giving honor unto the wife, means she's a servant. A woman, a wife, is a servant. As unto the weaker vessel, the woman is a servant and she's the weaker vessel. So there's no way in hell that she could be the superior being if she is the weaker vessel. And it says, "And as being heirs together of the grace of life, that your prayers be not hindered." So she's the weaker vessel. She was made to be a servant, not in rulership, not to have dominion, not to be telling men, like she said, in her interview, that, men get intimidated because, the way she bosses them around and this, that, and the third, and they're going to do what I tell you to do. It don't work like that. See, so it's down, with the nonsense. This is the nonsense of our culture. That's why I went into this article, to edify, to the best of my ability and bring forth the point of, this culture is done. This Black Death culture, this stock culture, this westernized bullshit is done. Yahweh Shem Yahushua is coming back to zap people and put them to death if they don't want to get down with our true culture, which is the Bible, which is the teachings of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. But these people don't want to have nothing to do with that. That's why they're going to be destroyed. So 1 Peter 3:7. So it says, "Dwell with the women according to knowledge, as unto the weaker vessel." So they are the weaker vessel, clearly. Now, why is that important? Let's go through a few precepts. 1 Timothy 2, starting at verse 10. So why is that important? Well, the woman is the weaker vessel. So what does the Bible say pertaining to the woman through the precepts? 1 Timothy 2:10, "But which becometh women professing godliness," a woman, if she's a woman, she would be professing godliness, which is righteousness. And the order of a woman is found in the Bible. She will be coming back to order. But 1 Timothy 2:10, "which becometh women professing godliness with good works." And what are those good works? Being in order. Not, trying to have authority over the man, as we continue to read. First, Titus 2:11, it says, "Let the woman learn in silence with all subjection." So the woman is supposed to be subjected unto the man, meaning under his rule and authority, not over him. It's clear to see that the man is a superior being. So these comments, it shows you how much these women, lack common sense, and how much they lack, actual spirit of reality. They're how out of tune they are with what is true, what is naturally true. So the woman's supposed to be learning in silence with all subjection to the man, to her man. "But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man." So the woman's not supposed to have no authority over the man, but to be in silence. She's supposed to be quiet. A silent and loving woman is a gift of the Most High. And here's why. 1 Timothy 2:13, "For Adam was first formed, then Eve." What's the importance of that? Order. That denotes order. 1 Timothy 2:14, and Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in the transgression. Going back to the story of Adam and Eve. Verse 15, notwithstanding some women, not all, not every woman, notwithstanding some elect women shall be saved in childbearing. Some women are going to bear children of the elect, and that's going to be to the saving of their souls. If they continue in faith, because a big part of this for the women is to come back to this faith, which is learning in its entirety the ways of righteousness by following first and foremost their man. And if that man, decides to teach that woman, then that's at his discretion. But if she coming back to order has nothing to do with that specifically. It has to do with being in order, following her man, following his lead, following the man of the Most High. Notwithstanding, she shall be saved in childbearing. Some women are going to be saved in childbearing if they continue in faith. But they all got to continue in faith, because that's not going to be every woman's lot, But to come back into the faith, oh yeah, she's going to have to come back to order. That is going to be every woman's lot that's going to be saved, according to the Bible. If they continue in faith and charity, women are supposed to be charitable. First amongst, her man and her family. And then if there's, opportunities within the brotherhood, through the sisters, then that happens. And holiness with sobriety is supposed to be holy, meaning set aside, not like the women of the world. This woman here, clearly, is not a woman that professes godliness with good works or as a holy woman, a spiritual woman. This is a woman of the world, So it says with sobriety, she's supposed to be, level-minded, not a woman out drinking and running in the streets and, promoting wickedness. But that's what these women do in this world. So what's the common denominator with all this? Well, here it is. 1 Corinthians 11 and verse 1. And it reads, be ye followers of me, even as I also am of Hamashiach. So we're supposed to be followers. Now, if we're a follower, then we're supposed to be a follower, of Paul, like he said, like he was of, Yahushua. Now I praise you, brethren, that ye remember me in all things and keep the ordinances, the law, statutes, and commandments, as I delivered them unto you. So we're supposed to come back to keeping the ordinances. This is spoken to the brethren, and then from them down to their women, the weaker vessel, the servants. The servant of who? Man. So we're supposed to keep the ordinance as they've been delivered. But I would have you know that the head of every man is a Mashiach. So every man on the planet has a head. That's Yahushua. And the head of the woman is the man. And every woman, is going to have a head as well, which is the man. And the head of Hamashiach is the Most High. So even Yahushua got a head. His father, Yahweh is the head. So every woman, it says, and the head of the woman is the man. But the issue that these women have is that they believe in feminism. They believe in, Western thought culture. They believe in 50-50, we're equal. Everything is the same. No, that's not according to the Bible. The scriptures tell us that a man is made in the image of the Most High, and that the woman is the glory of the man, and she was made to satisfy the man. That was the purpose of woman coming into the earth. Not to be superior or anything like that. Now, why is that important? Well, let's get another precept. Let's go to the book of Titus 2:1, and it reads, but speak thou the things which become sound doctrine. What is sound doctrine? Which is this word, what is righteous according to the words of the Most High? That's sound doctrine. Not that you are the superior being. You're not the superior being. And the Bible's clearly showing that. So what is sound doctrine? Verse 2, that the aged man be sober, grave, temperate, sound in faith, in charity, and in patience. The aged woman likewise, that they be in behavior as becometh holiness. So they're supposed to be in behavior as becometh holiness. Not like the women of the world. Changing their ways, growing in the faith, growing in being of service to their man and to their children and to the family. And if in some cases to the body, then through the spirit, then it'd be through the body. But it first starts at home. It says not false accusers, because a lot of women like to sit around and just lie to each other and, push a lot of wicked energy. Not given to much wine. See, you're supposed to be, sober. Doesn't mean that they can't drink, but it means they're supposed to be given to much wine. Teachers of good things, because when you are, that gives them balance to be able to teach the children and teach the young women good things, the right things, what's righteous, and what's wicked. Verse 4, and it says that they may teach the young women to be sober, to love their husbands, and to love their children. That's the real purpose of a woman. That's the stage she's supposed to be in. To be discreet, not running around here in the streets, not having a reputation of a woman that is loose, chaste, keeping her legs closed, keepers at home, not out here running around, trying to be like the rest of these thoughts in the stock culture. Good. What makes a woman good? She's following the commandments to the best of her ability. Obedient to their own husbands. That's a big part of a woman being in this faith. She's supposed to be obedient to her husband. That the word of the Most High be not blasphemed. Because if this didn't happen, then this would mean that the women don't do this, that the word of the Most High will be a lie. So the women are going to do this. The elect women are going to do this. They're going to come back to order. Isaiah 4:1 proves that, So, this also shows, that ultimately, the women, that are the elect women, which is, the women that are awakening to this truth and coming back, they're coming back to this sound doctrine, knowing what is right and what is wrong, knowing what's righteous and what's wicked. And this clearly is wicked. And this clearly is a wicked woman here, like many of them. But this is not really about them. It's about the truth. This video is made to show forth the word of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, and that it will resonate, in the spirit of the women that can receive it. And all the believers, So this is the book of Job 39:17, dealing with this, the title. Megan Thee Stallion calls the women the superior beings. Well, let's see if that's according to the Bible. Job 39:17, because the Most High have deprived her, the woman, of wisdom. So, upon further examination, we see through the scriptures, the woman is the weaker vessel. She's supposed to be in order, that she's made for the man. The man wasn't made for her, and that she's the weaker vessel. Because the Most High have deprived her of wisdom, that's why a woman would say something like this, that women are the superior beings, because she's deprived of wisdom. Neither have he imparted to her understanding. She don't have understanding of what? The righteous ways, the scriptures. She don't have no understanding of the truth. All she knows is the ways of the world. Western esoteric culture. That's what she knows. And so when they speak, these women, you see, you always see them put their foot in their mouth, because they don't have understanding. Because if they did, it wouldn't be really speaking or saying much. So they don't have understanding, and they have been deprived of wisdom. So they don't know the Most High. The way a woman comes back to knowing the Most High is by listening and being of service to her man, and being of service to her family, and then, once again, within the body as needed, according to her household. If that's what her husband, he will allow, then some sisters do those kinds of things. They help amongst the body, make garments, helpers to family members, helpers to each other, etc. So now, let's get this a little bit more. Let's go back to Genesis. Now, this is the book of Genesis 3:16, and it reads, unto the woman, he said, the Most High, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. This is the punishment, for being, disobedient. Starting with Eve. Unto the woman, he said, the Most High, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children. So that's the reason why women have so-called birth pains. And thy desire, Salakia, and thy desire, the desire of the woman, shall be to thy husband. That's why the Bible told us before that the woman, was made for the man. The man wasn't made for the woman. And thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. So really, the way this works is, this is not a matriarchy. We're going back to the way that it's supposed to be. This Babylonian, nonsense, we're at the end of this. We're at the dregs, of the cup dealing with Babylon. Babylon is about to be destroyed. So the man is supposed to be in rulership over the woman, meaning he's supposed to have dominion, over the woman. That's according to the Most High, Yahweh Shem Yahushua. So why is that important? Well, it's important for a lot of reasons. One is the book here of the book of Malachi. The book of Malachi 3 and verse 6, and it reads, "For I am the Lord Yahweh, I change not. Therefore ye sons of Jacob are not consumed." Because if the Most High did change, then that would mean that, the prophecies wouldn't come to pass, that the Israelites would be consumed. So the scriptures say, Malachi 3 and 6, "For I am the Lord Yahweh, I change not." The Most High has never changed. So when he said that the man is supposed to have dominion over the woman in Genesis, it says the same thing in the New Testament, in 1 Peter, in 1 Corinthians, in 1 Timothy, in the book of Job, etc. Everywhere we went in the scriptures. So it has not changed. It's still the same. So we'll touch on one more thing. So if you see the title of this, it says Megan the Stallion. When you look up what a stallion is, I just want to show how these women want to have power. And that goes back to the garden with Eve. The power, the woman wanting to possess power over the man. Showing you that that's a woman, and the women of our culture are, by nature deprived of wisdom. They don't possess wisdom, because there's always going to be a conflict, because a woman's not made to be in power. She's not made to be leading. The scriptures say that the flock of the Most High is of men, and that the Most High set a man over the congregation. The women are not supposed to be in positions of power. So you see this, it says the stallion. Now, when you look up a stallion, what a stallion is, most people know this, but I just want to touch on this to make a point real quick. Touch on a stallion, and a stallion, I'm going to pull it up real quick. It shows through the spirit that the woman has a problem with being, underneath the authority of the man, especially the Israelite man, most notably. So this is the definition of the word stallion. I want to show this clearly to make this point. So she calls herself Megan the Stallion. So this is the word stallion.
Stallion.
So the word
stallion
is a noun. It says an uncastrated adult male horse. So a stallion is a male horse. Not only that, let's continue on. I'm going to go to Merriam-Webster's dictionary now and go into the word stallion.
Stallion.
It says, once again, an uncastrated male horse. So a horse, that has, his testicles and his penis. A male horse kept for breeding. Also, a male animal, such as a dog or a sheep, kept primarily as a stud. A stud is also a male. What do you see women saying in this culture? They call these dykes, they call them studs. No, that is speaking of a man. Those are not men. Once again, Psalm 82 and 5, all the foundations of the earth are out of course. I just wanted to show that just through, the understanding of these simple things. Her name, calling herself a stallion, and then speaking the things that she speaks and the things that she promotes, it shows that, she wants to be in the position and authority of a man. No, she's going to have to die on the side, come back in the kingdom, born back into the kingdom, and she's going to have a husband and have a man over her. No matter how much money she made or how many songs, she did or whatever. She's going to have to die on this side and come back in the kingdom. Because this kind of mindset ain't going to make it on the chariots. So, once again, a stallion is a male horse, an uncastrated male horse used for breeding, or a dog or a sheep. So these are animals. Male animals can only be known as stallions. So we're another part of the creation of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, mankind. So in no time did the Most High ever make the woman, you know, to be in the steed of a man, you know, because a woman don't have a rod, and they're not built physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, in any other way as a man is. And that's clear and easy to see through nature. Clear, very, very clear to see, you know. So these women also call themselves queens. We know queen means whore, because that's part of this whore culture that's promoted here in Babylon, you know. So I think I got one more. Let me go to the book of Romans real quick. Make a point. So this is the book of Romans, right? Just going into that. So this is the book of Romans, the first chapter. I'm going to touch on the point real quick. So Romans 1, starting at verse 21. I want to make one more point. I'm going to close this out. So it says Romans 1 and 21, because that when they knew the Most High, they glorified him not as the Most High, neither were thankful, but became vain in their imagination. So these women of this nation, you know, and in this world, you know, they don't know the Most High, and they're not thankful. Thankful for what? The fact that he's their creator, and what he created them for. But became vain in their imaginations, because they believed in the Most High. Then they would have humility about them. A woman's supposed to be humble. It says, neither were they thankful, but became vain in their imaginations. And this is a woman, a perfect example of her, like many other women, that are vain in their imaginations, their own thoughts. And their foolish heart was darkened. See, their heart is darkened. And that being darkened goes into, you know, not being ignorant of the truth, being void of light and understanding, being deprived of wisdom. Romans 1 and 22, professing themselves to be wise. So they speak. She speaks as if she has wisdom. But Job 39 and 17 already told us that she's deprived of wisdom. Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools. So she looked foolish speaking the words that she's speaking. Because none of it is spiritual. None of it, you know, can be backed up by anything that is righteous, you know, or anything that is of substance. It says, and change the glory of the uncorruptible power into an image like to corruptible man, and to birds and four-footed beasts and creeping things. So, as we continue on reading this, and we get down to the point, it speaks about, and I'll just go to the point of just, you know, quoting it here in Romans. It goes into who changed the truth of the Most High into a lie. It says, and worship and serve, verse 25, serve the creature more than the creator. So that's what we see going on in this day and age. You know, the worship is of people, not the Most High anymore. Who got the most followers, who make the most money, who got the most accolades, you know, which woman looked the best, who got the biggest ass, who showed the most, you know, skin, and who's the most scantily clad, revealed woman, etc. This is what, you know, is being worshipped and pushed, you know, in the society. For this cause, the Most High gave them up unto vile affections. For even their women, the women of our culture, did change their natural use into that which is against nature. So the women wanting to be over the men is really against nature. It's against the natural order of things. Because nowhere in nature do you see that. You don't see the lionesses over the lions. You know, you don't see any, you know, you don't see the heifers over the bulls. You know, you don't see that. You don't see in no way that the female is superior to the man, because they weren't made to be that way, not even amongst the animal world. So how much more amongst the highest of all the Most High's creation, you know, start with his people. So with that, I hope that was edifying to the hopeful elect. Call Haloyim La, Allah Yahweh Yahweh Shem Yahushai. All praises to the Most High Yahweh Shem Yahushai, our power. Double honors to the elders and apostles who have labored faithfully and are the true teachers of Israel today. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect, Habayath Madabada, the house of David. You know, peace, blessings, and salutations to the brothers pushing this truth on four corners of the earth, and to the listeners, the brothers and sisters, the Akim and Akwathim who listen and believe on Yahweh Shem Yahushai. To you I say shalom as well.